In the reading, I think Case explains that RTO stores charge super high interest rates to raise the cost of basic products. They also use greedy sales tactics to target those who don't have reliable credit or savings. To me, this felt like people buy from the RTO stores because they feel like there's no other option. In the article, it talked about if someone needs appliances, furniture, and electronics right away, RTO feels like the only way, even though it will cost much more in the long run. Other companies that use similar tactics are payday loan businesses, title loan places, and car dealerships that advertise no credit needed. These are all attacking the financially vulnerable. I've personally never used an RTO store, but I've seen people use similar services when they didn't have the money up front. An example I found from the reading was how RTO advertised low weekly payments to make the cost seem manageable, when in reality the customer is going to pay much more than the retail value. Another tactic I saw in the reading was how salespeople pressure customers by promoting convenience and immediate access. I think these companies have a huge impact on families by making it harder for them to escape debt and poverty. For me personally, I've known of people who've used payday loans or no credit needed car places because they didn't have the credit or savings to go through a bank. Even though I've never used an RTO type business, I've seen them affect people close to me, and it's sad to see it become a financial burden that sometimes they can never escape from. Next, I'll talk about poverty in the US. And from the reading, even though the US is the wealthiest nation on the planet, Rank says that our poverty is because of how systems are structured and not because of personal problems. I think this is seen through low wages, a lack of social help, unstable jobs, and high living costs, not just because people are lazy. I saw the three major shifts Frank says we need to be as a nation are stop seeing poverty as an individual problem, accept the fact that most Americans will experience poverty at some point, and finally understand that poverty affects the entire nation. Some evidence I found helpful from the reading was how Rank says the US has weak policies compared to other wealthy nations. This leaves people vulnerable to circumstances such as job loss or unexpected expenses. The reading also talked about how widespread poverty is and that most Americans will face it at some point. I also think the three main points that Rank mentioned shows how poverty is a part of our society because of bad systems that are in place, not a problem caused by personal failures, even though there are people who are impoverished because of personal problems. I know for me personally that I've been guilty of judging individuals in poverty without really knowing about the larger factors affecting them. Especially after reading this article, I can see how for most people it's not their fault they're impoverished, but that social factors have placed them in a situation hard to get out of. I've seen a lot of people close to me struggle because wages didn't meet the cost of living. I think one major setback can push people into poverty and keep them there because it can be hard to break out of the cycle.